there are some changes coming in the preseason that I think we could use to kind of maybe determine what the meta is going to be beforehand. Now, of course, we won't really know for sure until the stuff hits live, but looking at, for example, in quick gameplay thoughts, Meddler kind of does these every so many days in a week, where they give their kind of like thoughts about what they're looking at going forwards. On November 9th, they said something in the current post of today, as a matter of fact, that reads something like this: Rune stats and different classes. The changes to rune stats coming in preseason will likely impact some classes more than others. Our plan there is to see which things land and then make quick reactive changes as needed, rather than trying to compensate before scale of effect is clear. Our expectation is that tank supports were probably one of the most affected groups, given they end up trading the scaling health resolve currently offers, which is really good on them, for a probably weaker mixer of stats. Many of them are quite strong going into preseason, so that's still a case where we believe the best approach is to assess and react quickly, rather than potentially premature buffing. So in other words, what they're saying is tank supports probably hit the hardest by some of the stat changes, but because they're already kind of good right now, they don't want to buff them prematurely, and then they end up being fine, and now because of the buffs, they're actually overpowered. They want to wait and see. But if tank supports do end up taking a hit, one of the things you might see in the bottom lane might be more enchanter supports, or maybe mage supports for a bully lane, with like a pushing lane with like a Lucian or a Draven or something like that. Because then, remember, with these tower changes and the barricades, you're not punished for having a pushing lane. If anything, you get more gold for shoving somebody under lane and getting gold off of those barricades. What you might see also, though, in contrast to that, is because of these tower barricades, because of the tower destroying and that needs to be done, you might see the enchanters with like a scaling AD carry with attack speed, like a Tristana or a Jinx or something like that, and they play for the late game. It doesn't really narrow down which one we might see until we go into maybe these second set of changes that are coming to Ornn specifically. When you think of Ornn, you think of a tank, you think of Engage, you think of the items that he upgrades, which are kind of late game scaling, like Infinity Edge, Rabadon's Death Cap, Trinity Force, and such like that. However, some of the new items he's going to be able to upgrade are kind of geared towards earlier game champions that might be more in favor with both the lane bullies down bot lane, and also maybe some more aggressive early game stuff in the mid lane as well, and I'll talk about that by talking about the changes. Youmuu's Wrath Blade, which is an upgrade of Youmuu's Ghost Blade, will give 75 attack damage, 10% cooldown reduction, 25 lethality, 40 move speed out of combat, and grants 20% move speed for 6 seconds, 45-second cooldown. That might be geared more towards assassins and stuff that play with Ornn. Usually if you're playing tanks that probably aren't assassins and vice versa, but this might make him more appealing to play in an earlier game composition, where then you could use things like Zed, Talon, things like that, maybe even any AD carries that still want lethality, like Misfortune potentially, or the Draven that we mentioned earlier. But on top of that, there's also an upgrade item called Frozen Fist, which is an upgrade of Iceborne Gauntlet. It'll give 95 armor. Good luck, Ezreal. A 20% cooldown reduction, 700 mana, and a unique passive Spell Blade. After using an ability, the next basic attack deals bonus physical damage equal to 100% of base attack damage in an area, and creates an ice zone for 2 seconds that slows movement ability by 30% for 1.5 second cooldown. Size of zone increases with bonus armor. So they're basically, of course, like they're not completely new items or upgrades of the items that already exist, but just with that saying, then maybe in the bottom lane you see something like Ezreal, who kind of right now is what and what. After the rework, people are maybe still learning him a bit, but he's considered an earlier game maybe lane bully AD carry. So once again, with the combination of both of these changes now, we might be moving into, and it's weird saying that because Ornn is still like a tank, and when you think of tanks, you think of late game and scaling, but maybe because of his Engage, you'll still see earlier stuff, an earlier game-focused meta. Kind of similar to last year, where we saw lethality come back, we even saw Xerath support come in because of Comet and such like that. I don't think it'll be like a late-game tank meta for the preseason. Now, will that change with experimentation as we head to the tail end and go into Season 9? I can see that, right? Like as someone that likes playing Jinx, I'm looking at these towers like, hey, I can still take those down probably faster than most other AD carries, like not named Tristana and stuff, as long as I can get to the towers, and I'm going to be getting more gold to scale faster into like the mid game even, because I'll be doing that depending on the lane, of course, but there is a chance you'll see Lucian, Draven, Misfortune, AD carries that want to use these lethality stuff, assassins that want to use Ghost Blade and stuff like that, things like Ezreal with the Iceborne Gauntlet upgrade, and Ornn, of course, might be a thing. He might not be, too, as a thing. I'm just making this prediction based off of these two changes. And so in the comment section down below, I kind of want to know what you guys think about these changes. them specifically, and then how you think it'll shape the meta going forwards with what we already know about the preseason with the tower changes and stuff that are coming. One thing to note that they did mention is so far on the PvE they were experimenting with earlier minion spawning times. They have reverted that back to regular times, so maybe that might slow things down a bit too. But that's going to be my predictions. What are your predictions though? Comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. But thank you so much for watching this video. I don't know which video will be next, because life can have a lot of kinks. So till this time, take care. GG, get jinxed. Thank you for watching, and enjoy pizza responsibly.